I shouldn't have heard her breathing. The camera showed an empty room. No movement, no shadows, just the faint glow of a night light. But through the audio feed, clear as my own pulse, I heard my daughter gasp, then whisper, "Daddy, the lady says you can't protect me." I was alone in the house, and she'd been asleep for hours. What I saw when I checked the footage changes everything. His name was Daniel Reyes, a 34-year-old sound engineer who spent his days restoring old audio recordings and his nights in the quiet solitude of his newly bought home, a two-story colonial on the edge of a dying suburb. The house had been a steal, its peeling paint and creaking floors masked by promises of space and peace. He needed both after the divorce. No neighbors close by, just a stretch of overgrown lawn and a tree line that swallowed the backyard whole. He moved in during late autumn, when the light slanted gray through the bare branches and the wind carried a hollow whistle through the eaves. The first week passed without incident. Just the usual settling of old wood, the groan of pipes, the distant hum of a refrigerator too loud for the kitchen. But by the third night, Daniel noticed something subtle. The silence. Not just quiet silence. The kind that presses against your ears like cotton. No crickets. No rustling in the walls. Even the wind seemed to die the moment he stepped outside. His recording gear picked up nothing, not even ambient noise. It was as if the house sat in a dead zone, cut off from the world's natural hum. Then there was the nursery. He'd converted it into a studio. A soundproofed room in the back, lined with foam panels and shelves of vintage equipment. It was supposed to be the quietest place in the house. But when he played back a test recording, he caught it. A faint, rhythmic tapping, 3 slow knocks coming from inside the walls. He checked. Nothing. Just insulation and old wiring. Still, the next morning, he found a single muddy handprint on the studio's interior window, facing inward. The house had been vacant for years. The realtor said the previous owners left in a hurry. She wouldn't say why. Daniel told himself it was kids or animals or stress. But deep down, he knew the truth. Something in this house had been waiting, and it noticed he was home. Daniel started recording everything. Not for proof, no one would believe this, but to convince himself he wasn't losing his mind. He set up microphones in every room, synced them to a monitor in the living room, and began logging the noises. The creak on the third stair, the flicker in the hallway light at exactly 2:13 a.m., the soft thump beneath the floorboards, like something shifting in the crawl space. Then came the smell. It started faint. A damp, earthy odor, like wet soil after a storm. But it grew stronger, seeping through the vents, clinging to his clothes. He traced it to the nursery-turned-studio, where the air was thick and cold, though the thermostat read 72. The recording equipment picked up something new, a low, rhythmic hum just below human hearing. When he ran it through a frequency analyzer, it resolved into something chillingly deliberate. A distorted lullaby, warped and stretched, playing backward in pulses. He played it forward. It was a song he'd never heard, yet somehow recognized. The kind of melody a parent might sing to a child, but with long, unnatural pauses between verses, as if someone had to remember the words. That night, he woke to the sound of knocking. Not from the walls, but from under the bed. 3 slow raps, then silence. He lay frozen, heart hammering, too afraid to look. The air turned icy. His breath fogged in the dark. And then a whisper, so close it might have been inside his ear. "She's still here." He didn't sleep again. Instead, he reviewed the security camera footage from the nursery. The room was empty. The door stayed closed. But at 2:17 a.m., the temperature reading on the screen dropped to 41 degrees in 3 seconds. And for a single frame, just one, something flickered in the corner. A shape, hunched and indistinct, its head tilted too far to the left. He scrubbed back, rewound, played it again. Gone. But the audio remained. And in that same moment, barely audible beneath the static, a child's voice, soft, broken, said, "I want to go home." The next day, he called the realtor, pressed her for answers. After a long pause, she told him the truth. The previous family had a daughter, age 6. She disappeared during a storm, vanished without a trace. The parents moved out the next morning. No one knew what happened, but Daniel did. She wasn't taken. She was buried, and something in the walls was trying to dig her up. Daniel couldn't leave. Not yet. The house had him now. Its silence, its cold, its hunger. He had to know. He had to see. He grabbed a flashlight, a crowbar, and the audio recorder running in his pocket. He wasn't going to run from the sounds anymore. He was going to follow them to the source. The knocking had returned, louder, more insistent, coming from beneath the nursery floor. Not random, not mechanical, rhythmic, like a message, like a plea. He pried up the loose floorboard near the corner, the one that always felt colder than the rest. Dust and the stench of wet earth poured out. The smell was overwhelming now. Rot and mildew and something sweet beneath it, like decay wrapped in perfume. He shone the light down. The crawl space was small, barely 2 feet high, stretching under the back half of the house. And there, tucked beneath the joists, was a small wooden box, crude, hand-carved, bound with rusted wire. His hands trembled as he pulled it out. The wood was damp, the surface etched with shallow grooves. At first, he thought they were random scratches. Then he saw the pattern. Names, dozens of them, carved over and over, some fresh, some old. And among them, Emily Hartwell, the missing girl. He undid the wire. The box opened with a soft, wet crack. Inside was a child's shoe. Tiny, pink, caked in mud. A lock of hair, tied with a faded ribbon. And a cassette tape, labeled in shaky handwriting, for the next one. His blood turned to ice. He didn't want to play it, but he did. The recorder clicked on. A breath, then silence. Then, soft at first, the same lullaby from the studio, but clearer now, sung in a child's voice. Innocent, sweet. Then, halfway through, the voice changed. Guttural, wet, as if something else had taken over. And the words shifted. She's not gone. She's under. They all are. You'll be under too. You're already listening. You're already chosen. The flashlight flickered. From below, a new sound, slow, wet dragging, like something pulling itself through the dirt. Then a hand, pale and too small, clawed up through the hole, fingers twitching, nails black with soil. Daniel stumbled back, but the door slammed shut on its own. The lights died. The recorder kept playing. And beneath the floor, something began to laugh. A sound like a child choking, like bones grinding, like a voice that hadn't spoken in years. He pressed himself into the corner, breath ragged, flashlight beam shaking over the hole. The hand was gone, but the tapping started again, this time not from below. From inside the walls. All around him, dozens of them, knocking, waiting. And then, from right behind his ear, soft as a kiss. We've been so lonely. They found the house empty. No sign of Daniel Reyes. No car in the driveway. No phone, no wallet, no struggle. Just a single flashlight on the nursery floor. Its beam still pointed at the hole in the crawl space. The recorder lay beside it, battery drained. The cassette inside chewed and ruined. The police called it a disappearance. A man, stressed, isolated, maybe unstable, walking into the woods and never coming back. They didn't notice the names carved into the wood. They didn't hear the silence. How the house swallowed sound like a black hole. One officer swore his radio died the moment he stepped inside. Another refused to go back after reporting the smell. Like a grave that just opened. But I know what happened. Because I bought the house. It was another bargain, another fresh start. I didn't read the full history. I should have. Last night, I installed a baby monitor in the spare room just in case. I wasn't planning on kids. Not yet. But the room felt watchful. I wanted to hear if anything moved. At 2:13 a.m., the monitor crackled to life. No image, just audio. And then, a child's voice, soft and broken, whispering through the static. He listened. Now you're listening. Are you ready to join us? I froze. The house was silent around me. No wind, no hum, just that voice replaying in a loop. I ran to the room, tore the monitor from the wall. threw it in the trash. But this morning, I found it on my pillow. The screen was cracked. The battery is full. And on the recording log, a new file, time-stamped for tonight. I haven't slept since. Keep my doors locked. I avoid the back of the house. I tell myself it's just wiring, just grief, just my mind twisting silence into something worse. But last night, I felt it, the floor beneath my feet, ever so slightly breathing. And I know now what the previous owners knew. The house isn't haunted. It's alive. And it's not feeding on fear. It's feeding on listeners. So if you're hearing this, if you're watching this story, hanging on every word, feeling that chill crawl up your spine, be careful, because the moment you stop, it might start listening to you.